Hi everyone, it's Andrew Maximov here, CEO and co-founder of Precious Payloads, a software that lets you plan and deliver the space missions, satellite missions, without leaving your office desk. And today I wanted to share my thoughts on pretty big announcement that was made late last week in India, where basically government in India has adopted a law that boosts the private space industry and public-private partnerships in India. So I think I posted some blog posts on that topic in my LinkedIn blog last year after my first visit to India in September 2019. And my key takeaway from that trip was that India has really great potential in space technology and space sector, but it lacks basically two things. It lacks the licensing and the regulation framework from the government to allow private companies to develop the satellite technologies and private space companies inside the country. And B, there was a lack of uh, private capital who are the investors who are interested to support those companies, and C, the domestic promotion of space segment as the possible solution of the challenges in traditional sectors such as mining or agriculture businesses. And I think um, why I think that the announcement that was made last week is a tipping point for the space industry in India is because throughout the last 6 months, I was able to help and support several universities and startups and work with them really closely on behalf of Precious Payload to understand um, what kind of resources they have and what how they think about satellite technology in general. And here's what I see. Um, I'll give you a first example. This is the insights from one of the startups in on the private space company scenes in India. So imagine they had to become a US company in order to get the license to launch an Everett satellite, because they're an Indian company, but they cannot get that license within their home country. So they had to go to US and do that. B, they had to hire a US person on a payroll to support the business development and have some substance in US. So they now ended up with having two employees in the United States on US payroll and 12 employees in India building the actual technology in the spacecraft, right? Yeah, this is like their advantage. And now that the new companies that are coming after them do not have to do that jiggle with become a US company first. They can solely be in India. That's going to be a huge boost, not only for the companies from within India, but also for the investors in India who do have capital, but they were not comfortable with the fact that they have to invest internationally and not locally. So now that pool of capital will suddenly become available for the newly made private startups in India to basically just become a domestic players in domestic market. And I think again, second thing that happens there is this country already has almost 300 companies, space companies, private space companies who used to be subcontractors for ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, the space agency of India, and now they also allowed to use their resources and technologies to span out the commercial arms and span out the startups on behalf of that. And this is tremendous potential for the private sector there, and it's also a huge pool of talent and proven technology with heritage that can be utilized in the space sector. And I think, and then I think what should be the next steps, or what are the next challenges and opportunities for Indian space economy is you guys have to promote the domestic use of space segment, meaning that now you have this cycle of creation of pool of space startups, and then you have to promote the data and the solution generated by those startups to your domestic end users of space segment, be it defense applications, defense or military applications, agriculture applications, mining applications, or shipping, whatever, right? And then from there you can go internationally, because again, you can leverage your existing technology, your amazing pool of talent, and with the heritage and support you guys have, and again, the untapped potential of the domestic usage of space segment, you really can build the cases domestically and then go internationally and compete with large players on international markets, especially in Asia, Middle East, and Africa.